Okay, people, we did it. I finally have the theme pick. We can get going on this episode of...
Wait. Wasn't I in charge of the theme? Yes, I finally got this very cool theme for us where...
You mean it wasn't supposed to be me picking the theme, but it was so good!
Guys, you should all put aside your differences, you know? Maybe it's time for us to work together and join our themes hand in hand.
Wait, what? How did you get here?
Come on. Breaking in the podcast recording studio is as easy as starting another episode of Music Arcade.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our April Fool's special of Music Arcade. I'm Galen the Sound Guy Firestone.
I'm Ronakel, and I hate humor and jokes.
And I'm Eddie, and wait, why does she look cel-shaded?
And, we have ourselves a special guest today.
Yeah, I'm Sam Thrall. Wait, why, what? Why am I here? What? How? I have so many questions!
Well,
and
okay.
we have no answers.
Who gave her the Adderall?
I do have an answer. You were a big part of last year's April Fool's episode, and this time we're playing it a little less fanciful, but we wanted to invite you back anyway. Welcome.
Yes, we're actually going to talk about video games, imagine that.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And this economy?
I remember talking about, Endwalker stuff was it a year ago?
You were in an episode between then. I think you joined us for a strategy RPG episode.
Yeah, I think I was unavailable for that, so you came in.
Yeah.
Yeah, a year ago we had the anime special, and you came back later on when I wasn't available because
Right, yeah.
Galen just really needed to talk about Tactics Ogre.
Can you blame me?
I
No.
don't.
I don't.
I'm just stating a fact.
Okay, fair. And with that, we have ourselves a jam-packed episode. So, we all have our own specific themes that we brought to the table for this one. And we challenge ourselves to be as off-the-wall and weird with it as possible. So let's see how weird we can get. And we're just going to go ahead and start off with the guest of honor. For our first topic, Dreamy. Sam, start us off.
Alrighty. So, Final Fantasy XIV's Thunderer. A theme that is used whenever you usually see the evil person. However, it can be very dreamy, especially because dreams can be a nightmare. And the theme is used at the beginning of the Unending Coils of Bahamut. The dreamlike state where the minstrel puts you in to fight terrifying boss gauntlets.
Interesting pick, but wouldn't Dreamy have something inspirational to it? Because not really the vibe I'm getting, but maybe there's something I didn't pick through.
I mean, isn't it inspirational to keep fighting forward and not give up?
Look, as someone who actually does go to bed listening to a song titled Nightmare, I'm gonna defend Sam on this one. Nightmares count as dreams.
Yeah, Never mind, I'm not going to say anything. I agree. I'll get to my statement about my song later.
Our main host there, people.
Mm-hmm. I mean, between Twintania, where she originally came from, and Twintania of Ultimate, you definitely have to have perseverance and a dream of going forward and winning.
I dreamed that
Otherwise
I dreamed the Twintania Mount plays this song instead of generic flight music.
Oh yeah,
Same.
absolutely.
I wish too.
And that's another tally of Final Fantasy XIV things that I don't get to me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're looking to know more
about
about Twintania, there's this Netflix series called Dad of Light, which is a real thing.
Yeah.
Good lord.
And Twintania is definitely one of the most iconic walls of bosses, so having the dream and nightmare of it is definitely something that I brought forward with bringing this pick to the table.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting pick.
Yeah, I like it. We challenge ourselves to be off the wall. I think that counts, and yeah.
You would like it, wouldn't you?
I mean, I do like that song,
let's
yes.
move on to the next one then.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie, what do you got for us?
Smooth transition as always. Some of you may or may not know that Galen and I are into metal.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, metal music. Through the Fire and the Flames.
Boo. Anyway.
Yes.
Technically counts as a video game song because it's on Guitar Hero, but, whatever.
Damn Guitar Hero for bringing that song stinked. Never mind, go on. Hi.
You have opinions. But yeah, I think for starters, it's fair to say that as a power metal song, it kind of brings an element of fantasy and telling two stories we could only dream of. But the thing that really brings the dreamy vibe for me is, we're talking here about what's probably a prime example of what aspiring guitarists around the world think of when they wish they could do some amazing solos and play like guitar gods, due to the sheer skill shown in those solos by Dragon Force. And I hate this song.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, good, because until then, I was going to remark that another possible link is that with how much Galen's eyes were rolling, it was almost like a dreamlike state, like when you're in deep sleep,
Boo! Damn it. Look, I've had to sit through Dragon Force twice, opening for Camelot both times, and they were terrible both times, and it turned me against this band kind of permanently. My friend Beth, who's part of the LA concert scene, we've known each other for years. We met in line at an Epica show. She actually said to me, she's one of the people who loves metal more than anyone else I know. She actually said to me, like, after their third song that all sounded the same, I wish I brought a book. This woman can headbang to literally anything, and she said that about Dragon Force.
Yeah, this is a band where I respect the band members as human beings, because they do seem like legit good people. But
you can be a good person and be bad at guitar.
Yeah,
I would also like to say that I don't agree with that statement. Herman Lee hit on Beth while Beth was basically married, and Herman knew that. And during one of those concerts, the keyboardist got so drunk he started jumping on, like he got up and jumped on his keyboard, and this was an expensive Roland keyboard too. This is like, this could have gone to a music school, you're destroying this. Stop it.
I retract my statement, because my only opinion of them was based on their interactions with the fan base in general, so yeah, the more you learn, never meet your heroes.
Yeah, the more you know.
But to be back to the music, I see Through the Fire and Flames more as a Guitar Hero song than as a Dragon Force song. It is a rhythm game's boss music.
Oh yeah, 100%.
First, before any band's music. And as a result, the try to bring that aspirational, dreamy quality of it. It's a bit roundabout, but I can definitely see it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. Inspiration to be a better musician. Good lord, I wish I could play like that. I don't like this band. I don't like these people in it, but they are very talented at what they do. I won't pretend otherwise, and I would totally love to, I would love to play anything like that.
Well, if you pirate Guitar Hero 3 and practice for hours, maybe you can pretend to be able to.
There is Clone Hero, which is a online thing that allows you to actually not have to pirate the game. You just
and not have to throw all of your carefully collected Guitar Hero peripherals into the trash.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh god, those peripherals.
Rana, do you have something less controversial? Or actually, no, we kind of want controversy here, don't we?
Kinda, although it's definitely less of a guitar pick. So, the Battlefield 2 main theme. Admittedly, I'm not much of a Battlefield player, but I gotta give it to this track. It's got this filmic, heroic war movie feel of men of war dreaming of a better tomorrow and ready to make it happen by the force of arms. But it's not just an aspirational dream, no, that's not dreamy enough, see? There's also the fact that the song has, in multiple parts, a gentle reprieve from the more bombastic elements. And what is a dream, if not a gentle reprieve from a hectic reality? Really, this song is dreamy down to its very structure, its very core, and as such represents the perfect pick.
I have a question. Is this essay gonna be part of the test?
Yes.
I should study harder. I've literally never played a Battlefield game. Send help.
I've played Halo? Question mark.
It's not like I actually played this game. But the fact that it's a music that fits and would fit so many generic 360 era shooters is saying something about the universality of that dream. Kind of calling back to that notion of noosphere, which is that dreams are a sort of interconnected world, you see?
Right.
How Jungian.
Indeed.
Next you'll be saying Sona or something.
If you'll excuse me, I'll just freshen my breath with a delicious Mementos.
Okay. God damn it.
That I
don't think I can
hate
top
that's
that.
good. I hate that that's good.
I can top it. Galen, it's your turn. I've done my job.
Oy vey.
Oh god.
Okay. Well, it seems like we all kind of went the same direction on this one, and that is all of our dreams apparently go really hard. Because I picked Grinder from Red Alert 2. I'd love to say these are good dreams I'm having lately, but they're not. I live in Honolulu, Malka of H1. It is loud here. Sirens, banging, kicking chickens, random people blasting Future 50 Cent at 3 in the morning, added a very loud cat. My insomnia has actually gotten worse. So this song perfectly encapsulates what I feel like when I should be dreaming. It's loud, it's frenetic, it's noisy. For the record, I actually love this song. Like, to be clear, this is a great song.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, these are my dreams lately. Not quiet, not lullabies, not even boobs. Just anger and noise marching over my skull like an invading army.
I find it interesting how all four of us have been having similar vibes about dreams. Do we have a hive mind forming now?
Maybe.
That wouldn't surprise me, given how, like, on the nose we tend to be about everything else.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about picking a challenging dream, that just makes sense. And yeah, that song reflects that state of mind perfectly, of the fact that there's a lot of multiple instruments or just sound effects used that kind of form this chaos. I can see that, definitely.
Also,
Yeah.
there's a clip on Galen's Twitch that is the hive mind of Final Fantasy XIV dancing.
Oh, right! Yeah, I do like this song. It's got a lot going on, but I'm not going to pretend it isn't just a giant ball of noise to start with. It's got the radar beeps, it's got the telegraph beeps, it's got the marching, the boots. It's really layered in there in a really great way.
Yeah, the beeps in particular almost make it sound like an alarm clock, like it's the dream you have right as you wake up.
Oh, God, yeah. Well, you know, I wish I needed an alarm clock. I wish my life would let me be in a position where I could use one. No, I'm up at 5:30 in the morning, whether I like it or not, every day.
Well,
You did get
maybe
a
you
free
should
chicken.
have picked that song with chicken sound.
I hate you.
You have the chicken dance as an alarm.
I hate you, too.
You're getting purple with rage, Galen.
Nice transition. Our second topic,
Thank
mine,
you.
is purple.
I wonder why you picked purple.
I was actually thinking about picking audio engineering as my pick, just to see what you guys would do, but I decided against it at the last minute.
Honestly,
Thank
both
you.
those films would be great.
Yeah.
It'd probably end up being a Solano picking. I don't think that you would have liked it.
You say that
Honestly,
like I haven't liked the vast majority of what goes on in this podcast, regardless of whether or not it's a game I played.
Fair enough.
I think if we had
What?
gone into the sound engineering route, we would just have brought Mick Gordon picks. Just
Quick,
because.
stop thinking about engineering before we add a fifth thing.
Yeah, think about
Oh my God.
purple, Eddie.
Okay, purple. So, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think purple? Because I think Mega Man, of course, not the blue.
He's blue.
But,
yeah, I was about to say.
Exactly, but this song does come from a covers album where the cover art kind of betrays the purpleness of the X franchise, because Sigma is often associated with the purple color, and this is specifically the theme not only of one of Sigma's minions, but of a former Maverick hunter who turned into a Maverick, and the Mavericks are always with that little purple symbol near their health bars. And besides that, this whole franchise, at least up until X5, we don't talk about what came afterwards. It was pretty much all about the ultimate fight between X and Zero, and when you mix the red Zero with the blue X, you get purple. So it's in there.
This is a
Your
stretch. Like you are
argument regarding
reaching, my
color
friend.
theories.
Mhm.
No, it's impressive, and I can definitely respect a color theory argument given what's gonna come next. But why? That's a good argument for Mega Man X in general, but why Chill Penguin in particular?
Yeah, I would have been like Crystal Snail, which is literally a purple stage.
That would
Well-
be next too.
Well, yeah,
Really?
but
Well, when you think about a very cold environment, people often talk about going blue or looking blue from the cold, but you don't really look blue from the cold environment, do you? It's more of a purple thing, and Chill Penguin stage really gets that cold vibe, in my opinion.
Ah, I see, which echoes with the quest for the truth. But in the
Exactly.
true color of it all. Yes, I see. Thank you, I didn't see that immediately. That makes sense.
Whatever you say.
if nothing else, the leaps of logic are making me smile. This is great. This is exactly
the
what I was
goal.
hoping for.
Yeah.
Speaking of blue, Rana, what's your pick?
Well, only the biggest of blue in the Rana picks. But work with me a moment. I may have had some counter-argument regarding Mega Man as a pick, but consider this. Yes, the song starts blue, on principle, down to its name. It's the intention, it's meant to represent on some vestigial level the blue sea of the faraway land upon which the stage is set for this track, Deep Blue.
Are you
However, this
okay? I
is-
was about to say, are you actually going to give a title at some point?
Yes. However, this is F-Zero's Deep Blue, and you're going fast. You're going extremely fast. It's fair to say F-Zero and its soundtrack are synonymous with speed. And so it was very clever of them to intentionally name the track after the color blue instead of its true color, purple. Because what the blue light frequency does when it gets faster and the wave gets shorter, the blue turns into purple. Thus, a very fast blue is the truest possible representation of a purple we have, and that integrates gameplay and music and artistry in a beautiful and unique fashion, which was very smart and very intentional of the song's creator.
So, big question. How long have you been awake for?
I forgot.
Now,
Make you
Okay.
sound like a museum curator.
I've got to throw this one out here. I've only played the Super Nintendo F-Zero, although I've seen the other games. I can't help but think that isn't the track purple?
I think the track isn't, but the bumpers on the side are.
The bumpers. Okay.
Also, the name of the logo is lined golden but purple in the middle. Purple
Yeah.
is baked into the very essence of this outwardly blue game because of the speed.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And for a more modern game, of course, you'd associate speed with blue, but with speed with red, I mean, because of classic association with Ferrari car colors and the like. However, the fact that they went with this scientific wavelength approach signifies as well the science fiction themes. So, again, extremely clever, and this track doesn't get enough credit for how purple it is. Next!
All
That's
right.
it. That's my transition.
Well, fair enough.
Fair.
So, you guys mentioned Mick Gordon earlier, and I tried not to pipe up because my purple pick is actually a Mick Gordon song. Sandstorm from Killer Instinct, Season 2. Oh, how am I going to justify this one? Well, for one thing, the soundtrack in general has been on my Spotify a lot since we did our Mick Gordon episode. Like, man, Killer Instinct has a great soundtrack.
Yes, it does.
This song
You're
in particular
welcome.
has like this Arabian Nights theme. And
Which
if
makes
you...
sense given that it's Canberra's theme.
Right. And if you know anything about me, you know my brain likes linking weird tangents in funny ways. So, you know what I saw over the weekend while I was in Seattle? John Wick
What
4.
did you see?
And in John Wick 3 and 4, there's this character in Morocco called the Elder. I don't want to give any spoilers, but mooks die during these encounters with the Elder because it's a John Wick movie. Of course mooks
It's
are
John
going to
Wick.
die. Yeah.
Mooks, yes.
And my
Mooks
brain-
die in John Wick. Big spoilers.
Yeah, right? There's gunfighting and dead mooks in John Wick. Huge spoilers.
Next thing you're gonna tell me that Fast and the Furious has cars.
Right?
And
Whoa,
family.
whoa. Cut that out of the episode.
So yeah, my brain actually kind of conflated these two. Because you have fighting in the desert under a very purple-tinged movie where the whole franchise is actually, like, kind of has a purple color scheme in a lot of segments. It actually is kind of one of the most thematically present colors in the entire color scheme of all four films. And I'm watching this action scene in my mind's eye to this soundtrack. It's a weird synesthetic response, but there we are.
It's impressive that you associate John Wick with the Killer Instinct soundtrack over the John Wick X soundtrack.
You know, I thought that too. I don't get what's going on here. I'm like, but I do know that Mick Gordon should probably compose the next movie in the Continentalverse. That's what I'm thinking. No, I really love this song. This is honestly just a case of I got home, I hit my games playlist, this song came up on it, and suddenly I'm seeing the John Wick thing, and I'm like, I'm just gonna write this down. I'm supposed to be reaching for off-the-wall picks here. This works. I mean, this song is just, it's great. It's great. It's not like Mick does
it's
bad work
great.
or anything, other than that one weird hip-hop track from, like, the very beginning of his career, and I'm not even sure that was him. Like usual, the guitar work was immaculate. I'm just saying this is a song that's perfect to kill mooks to under a brilliant desert sky. Under a brilliant purple desert sky, even.
Mm-hmm.
Nice catch.
No, I literally do conflate these two in ways that my brain doesn't quite make, like, logically doesn't make sense, but that's just sort of what's going on.
I mean, if we're going off the wall, that's the plan.
Yep.
I think one of the possible reasons is that the orange you'd associate with the desert sands, what's the color complementary to orange?
Blue, actually.
Purple. Close enough to purple.
True.
If you go fast.
How do we keep going back to blue on this block?
Because blue is close to purple.
Unlike green.
Yeah, you have some explaining there to do, Sam.
So, yeah, this is fairly easy, and honestly, it's pretty zen, not gonna lie. The track is Sonic Green Hills Lo-Fi Remix. Now, what I
Green
think,
Hills, right?
I mean,
Just confirming.
Fair enough, but yeah.
And it's a
When
blue hedgehog. We're going back to blue again.
Oh my god. But when I listen to lo-fi, what I think of is blues, purples, and pinks, like the last bits of dusk going beneath the horizon. It just so happens that those purples dip right next to some green grass that accents the colors of the sky just nice. Speaking of the sky, component from back in the desert with Sandstorm.
So it's a bit of a double peak with both dreamy and purple aspects, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's a little bit. I mean, I could have placed it in one or the other, but I mean, it's a nice, calming, like the purples and blues, like the sun setting, and just enjoying that as you watch it from the hills of the horizon that Sonic looks out onto.
The green hills, yeah.
Indeed.
I get it. I get it. The lo-fi synthwave, all that sort of generally calmer style, it does bring to mind those colors. I get it.
So I guess we've landed on the fact that purple is the color of evil, corruption, speed, John Wick, and comfy dreams at top of hill. That's a versatile color.
It is a versatile color.
It is indeed.
So I have no transition for our next topic. But our
Neither
next
do I.
Topic is apparently Sam. This
And
was
it's
yours.
my next pick, so...
Yeah, this
My-
is your
I'm
topic,
not
right?
transitioning.
Keep it ferocious.
I decided to give everyone the prompt of cute but ferocious. And we're gonna see what they got.
Yeah, and it was an interesting pick for sure, because there's this inherent paradox in the two, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you have a pick and you want to give a stretch to it, you want to look at what's the opposite, but the opposite is integrated into it. So, that's definitely something that has a lot of relief, and I'm pretty happy with what I landed on. So, my pick was the Osaka Castle theme from Samurai Warriors 2.
Ooh.
So, we think of battles, we think of something very solemn, but the opposite of that happens in the Samurai Warriors 2 soundtrack. It's almost festive in part, like you're not waging a blood feud or having a techno dance party. So I thought of it naturally for the theme. And my mind then focused on a key moment that is depicted in the level where this song plays. See, it's the Osaka Castle battle. It's a high point of the battle between the Tokugawa and the Toyotomi for unifying Japan. And we think of the fierce and mighty samurai as part of this conflict, the Sanada, the Honda, and the Ishida of this world, but that's not all the playable characters that are around, is there? In fact, one of the key characters in the battle, the one guarding the gates to Osaka Castle itself, is none other than Nene, Hideyoshi Toyotomi's wife. That definitely qualifies as somebody that's cute but as ferocious as anyone mowing thousands of mooks can be. And she's got that ninja vibe, and with that song's bouncy rhythm but impactful drums, the song almost qualifies as a theme song for her character, ferocious yet cute, moving with the speed of a ninja from one instrumentation to the next.
I hear this song, I think, of the first Samurai Warriors game, and I think of Kunoichi, who's Yukimura Sanada's, ninja bodyguard, and I'm just like, it's basically the exact same thing you said, just with a different character.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same kind of mood. I mean, Nene basically replaced Kunoichi in Samurai Warriors 2 before they brought Kunoichi back.
Yeah, which I'm glad they did, because I like her, but she's a fundamentally different character despite serving the same rough moveset.
Exactly.
No, I get it. All right.
And I think I win by decision because of how right I am again.
Again.
All
So
right.
now that I've established how good my stretch picks are, let's move on to Galen. What do you have in the term of cute but ferocious?
Dark Souls 3.
I get the ferocious.
We'll
I
get
get
to
the
that one.
but.
This will come around, but we'll talk about the ferocious first, and then I'll bring it around to cute. Man, this song just goes hard. This song is Soul of Cinder is the final boss track from Dark Souls 3. Basically,
Unrelated to Killer Instinct Cinder.
correct. Now I have some serious issues with Soulsborne in general, but the music is not one of them, and this song is just absolutely phenomenal. It's just this big, bombastic boss track that does kind of bring it back. It goes back into the original Gwyn theme from Dark Souls 1 that was drawn up by Motoi Sakuraba, our oft punching bag on this show. So we managed to get Sakuraba even here, though admittedly this one was not composed by Sakuraba. This is a partial remix and partial... Well, I don't want to call it a remix.
I
It's just reusing
considered
that
making
orchestration.
Sakuraba a theme, by the way. So count your blessings.
Fair enough.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, this one was composed by Yuka Kitamura. And, man, this is just a damn beautiful track, and it goes hard. So what's the cute part?
What is the cute part?
The composer. I've been single for a while, and she's really cute. I'm sorry. I know this is cheating. But she's kind of my type. Like, good-looking, musical, talented. Like, what do you want from me?
I didn't expect that.
I've just been backstabbed by an argument. Just you know, it's
we're
ironic.
gonna talk at the end about all this. We're gonna talk about at the end all this.
It's okay. Consider the following.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the four of us, Galen, we thought, was the only one that wasn't using Audacity for his recording. Turns out, that's because he assembled 55 episodes worth of a pure... 45 episodes worth of pure Audacity for this single argument.
Oh my god! Incredible.
Look. Again, been single for a while, okay? And I like musical girls, I'm sorry. This is just sort of my type here already. But, come on! Yeah, I admit this one's kind of off the wall and cheating, but... I'm not gonna pretend this ain't accurate, right?
Look, I'm not
If
gonna
nothing
touch...
else, your defense of it is cute but ferocious.
I'm not gonna touch that argument. Just promise me you don't have a body pillow over her.
Oh god, no. What the hell's wrong with you?
Okay,
Come on,
good.
man. I'm crushing, not a creep.
Yeah,
There's a
what
big
the hell
difference.
is wrong with you, Eddie?
Moving on from that.
Yeah!
So
Yeah.
So my pick for this one was a very interesting one. I have to give it to Galen for introducing me to the series, because I actually now enjoy it. Hitman 2's main theme.
Woo! I love this song personally.
Now, it is a fantastic song, but Agent 47 is not overtly ferocious, and I mean, he could be conventionally cute to people, depending on who you ask.
I've seen some interesting
I've
chibi
seen-
art, but
But he's not the one that I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of one of his deadliest adversaries in the game, Theranov.
It's been a while since I've played the Hitman 2 original.
One,
Remind me.
I am... I don't think I've said it, but not only am I trans, but I'm also lesbian. So like, point aggressively. Like that is a cute, beautiful woman who could kill me.
Fair, however,
And I could watching a battle between 47 and Sierra in my mind can use the music as a background and be perfectly reasonable. So yeah, it is the theme is amazing, and the characters who I was thinking of definitely work out well in my mind with that.
yes, certainly.
I think there's only one more person who has to give for it. Eddie, what's up?
So what's up is Tropico. Specifically Tropico 4. Might be a weird pick for cute but ferocious, but honestly, when I think of games like Tropico, since I am Latin American, my mind comes to thinking about the country, to be honest, and there's usually this view of Latin American countries, especially the Caribbean countries, as being cute but not really powerful. So they exist. They're not really a force in the international scene, but there's a sense of ferocity to the Latino peoples, I'd say, and it kind of shines through the song here, by the fact that it's a very energetic song, and I usually don't really enjoy dance music, not the genre dance music, but the songs made just for dancing at parties. But I love this one. The energy in this is really strong, and like I said, I think it betrays the hidden ferocity of a lot of Latin American peoples.
I see you choose your words well, given your ability to play both sides of the Cold War in this game.
Exactly. And you're controlling small islands in Tropical. They're cute. They're cute little islands in the middle of the ocean. They don't look like they are gonna grow much, but you can.
I see. So kind of taking a scenery approach to the cute but ferocious paradox. That's interesting.
I can dig it.
And finally, on to our last thing. Last theme of the day.
Now, there was a story behind picking the theme, wasn't it, Eddie?
Oh, yeah. This was my theme, and it was the pinnacle of oh god, I don't have an idea. Because we were thinking of...
Okay, with you so far.
Yeah, we're thinking of more open-ended themes for our off-the-wall picks. So I was like, okay, I don't have a pick. Let me go to the gym. Maybe that'll help clear my mind, and I'll think of a pick. And I'm on the treadmill, I'm looking just straight forward. There's a window, and I go, okay, glass, let's do it.
Sometimes
Sometimes
line of sight names work, as we flash back to I need to wash the dishes. Thank you again for that sketch, Rana.
Exactly. It's amazing.
It's a great sketch.
That sketch instantly came to my mind when I thought of the theme. I was like, oh yeah, glass works. Rana's gonna love this story.
Yes. And you're going to love my pick for this one, because it is the Laurel-filled theme 2 from A Link Between Worlds. An easy pick, honestly. It came to me right away. Because when I saw the word glass, what I immediately thought of, after the aforementioned sketch, of course, was Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. And what is a video game that is, just like Through the Looking Glass, a sequel to a celebrated fable worldwide that has a main character once more travel between a world and its mirrored version? That would be The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. And the lore-filled theme, too, is a perfect representation of the game's parallel with Through the Looking Glass, as there is an echo of the original Dark World theme from A Link to the Past, but there is a glory to its tonal shift, a will to stroll this world, not as a frightened, lost boy anymore, but as a hero ready to save this world and the next.
Why Laurel 2 over Laurel 1?
Because of that unafraid nature. When it's Laurel 1, you're still kind of unsure what's happening and how to get back to your world, which you do, by the way, by getting against a wall that is technically painting but looks like stained glass. Double meaning here again.
Fair enough.
So you're taking a more thematic approach, a more
Exactly.
broad.
Kind of a word association.
I get
think
it.
it was.
I get
I
it.
understand.
That works.
Yeah, and I think that's a wonderful representation of glass without going through the obvious easy pick of like an actual certified branded Alice in Wonderland game. Because they've been taking the easy road, and we are challenging ourselves this episode. And in what way have you challenged yourself for this theme, Eddie?
Oh, have you heard that I've never played Xenoblade Chronicles, much less Xenoblade Chronicles 2?
No, I hadn't.
I may have repeated a few times on the podcast that I do not own a console, and as you may know, Nintendo pretty much only releases games on their own consoles or on mobile.
Fascinating.
Yeah, turns out that being part of this podcast means I get a lot of recommendations of songs from franchises I never play, and I may or may not have had the idea of me being at the gym thinking of the topic in my mind when this song came up, because this has the energy of a gym track. It would totally be on my workout playlist if it wasn't Spotify.
Correction. This has the energy of one of your gym tracks.
Fair. Yeah, my BPM is a bit higher than the average.
Yes.
I believe you called me a maniac, and Galen's first reaction was, "Oh wow, you do cardio a lot then." Yeah, I kind of do. But yeah, beyond that that loose association, the instant the song starts, you get a lot of loud noises and some cymbals in the back, and my first impression was that's basically glass shattering. Glass isn't usually something you associate with noise, but when you shatter glass, that is noisy as hell. And I guess it went from there, between the gym and the shattering glass.
So,
See, that kind of makes me think almost of the... because this game is a JRPG, right?
right.
I mean, yes. And I immediately think of Glass JRPG Battle Transition from FF10. Maybe that's where you saw that kind of parallel?
Actually,
of
I
glass shattering as an entry point?
Eddie would not know this, but in the first Xenoblade, there's a see the future mechanic, and if you prevent that future from happening, it does create a glass shatter sound and effect.
Yes, it does. You're right.
That's interesting.
Not that
the
Eddie would know
coincidences
this,
we
but that's
get
where
to.
my brain went pretty much immediately.
Wow, you made a really great pick there, Eddie.
Yeah, I thought it through very carefully.
Yes. Sorry, that was a nervous laughter. I don't know why I'm laughing.
I don't know why
Actually,
you're
that was
laughing
very
I
either.
don't know why I'm laughing either. Galen!
Okay.
We almost sound like we're getting hammered.
Ha. Getting gravity hammered? Question mark? That strange reference will make sense momentarily, insofar as anything in my brain makes sense. So, two things that I want to point out before I begin here. One, I've had bad insomnia lately, especially since I got home from Seattle. This has resulted in my brain making some tenuous connections vis-a-vis the John Wick versus Mick Gordon thing that happened before. We're going to be getting to another one of those connections going on. The second thing is, whenever I have trouble with something, what I'll do is I'll go somewhere and I'll just hit random until something somehow connects. Whenever I'm writing a story and I don't know a character's name, but I know what purpose they have in the plot, I'll go to a random name generator, have it generate as many at once, just keep hitting randomize until I find what I like. In this case, something similar happened.
Basically brute forcing your imagination.
Kind of, yeah. Until something clicks. And I kind of did something similar here. I went to my video games playlist, and I just kept cycling songs until something made sense. If it was too obvious, I'd skip it. If it was too impossible, I'd skip it. And then I get to this song, from Shadow of Mordor, The Hammer. And I just sort of sat on it for a while, and I hear that pulse-pounding nature, and I see the orcs running at me, and I see, the Uruk-hai, and I see the goblins. And suddenly I have an assault rifle from Halo in my hands. Why is that there? And then I see a cruiser in the background, glassing the planet. I've somehow now conflated the orcish hordes with the Covenant. No, I don't know what my brain was doing, but that's where we're at. My brain kind of thought this was a not-quite Halo song, for whatever reason. Leading me to go, okay, now I kind of want to see Gothmog versus the Arbiter, but that's... So I'm going to blame this one on insomnia? But yes, I actually see the Covenant in my mind's eye as I'm listening to this song now, glassing the planet.
That is
a trip.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's the most interesting game of telephone you play with yourself.
I love it.
My brain does this a
Great.
lot, I might add. Like, I don't show it off, but if you see me just randomly in, like, my Discord's general chat doing a hard change of subject to something that seems completely random, my brain made those connections just off-screen, and it somehow got
Same.
there.
I do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
That is so strange, because we've never gone on tangents on this podcast.
Right? Never. It just never happens.
It just never happens. Speaking of, let's step over some glass. With the next pick, the Resident Evil basement theme.
Specifically the director's cut one, right?
Yeah.
I have questions about choosing the director's cut.
Okay, so real talk. This song feels like stepping around broken glass and avoiding piercing your feet on the start.
You do sound in pain.
Or hunters, in this case, I think. Are hunters down there? No, I think there were hunters down there.
Maybe.
I think so. I don't know.
It's been
The
a long
only
time since I played
stepping
Resident
on
Evil
glass
1.
mechanic I can think of is the Die Hard NES game. And that's a speedrun strat, actually. I should have picked that for glass. Oh well.
Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
So, yeah, it is a horrifyingly tittering theme that forces you to think that you just need to be stepping carefully, tiptoeing around and not stepping on glass, alerting whatever you need to be avoiding.
I see. How do the trumpets make you feel in particular? Do you feel they are a good fit for a horror theme?
So, maybe.
Maybe.
Okay.
Rana, you fucking bastard.
I'm going to ask the ultimate question here. Did you actually listen to the song at any point?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Also, we'll have to bleep a couple of words, but I think they're justified.
Yeah. Okay, guys, April Fools. Let's just go ahead and talk about this nonsense.
Yes.
None of us picked our own tracks at all.
Yeah. We
when
picked
we-
the themes, like we said, but then the plan is to pick somebody else's song and to make it as difficult as possible.
And to be clear, the stories behind picking the themes are legit, like me picking glass at the gym. That's real.
Exactly.
Oh, the Shadow of Mordor song, everything I just said to you was 100% accurate. That wasn't even me stretching. That literally happened. I just didn't pick the song.
The descriptions work. It's exactly. It's just that Eddie picked for you for
And
this one.
my story for my my stuff for Thunder is out of pure experience.
Which is funny because that, like, the thing I said about the random selection, that's what I did for this. I literally went to my games list and went click, click. Oh, okay, we'll do this one for this song.
The
It
funny
just so happened to be
thing-
on the person who knew Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, and I flat out said on the Discord, I'm like, of course Zero gets the FF14 track. I didn't do that on purpose.
Exactly. Like, you picked a few targets at first, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to executively decide who gets what.
So not gonna lie, I did not know the amount of hatred that you guys had for Dragon Force when I picked that.
No,
And fire
I'm
in the
glad
flame.
you did.
Yeah,
Any excuse I have to
which is
talk
why-
shit on them is a good thing.
Not
Look.
only that, what you don't know is that before she posted that, she asked me in DMs if that was enough of a video game track. And I said, yeah, sure, and you are very cruel.
Look, you gave me the perfect opportunity to sound like I was a scholar, giving a deep presentation on Dragon Force, only to just screw all over them. That was perfect.
Honestly, the way you played that out was...
Incredible.
Yeah.
I do want to say, Galen kind
Also-
of surprised me, because I've picked songs for Galen on 2 occasions for this episode. And
Right.
my thought when picking the songs was, okay, I also am a writer as a hobby. I see parallels very easily. So when I was looking for something for purple, I went, okay, desert. Desert isn't purple. But I kept getting more sort of royal sounding themes, and purple has always been a royal color. But
Exactly.
until I found that one track by Mick Gordon, I went, okay, this one does not sound royal. And then Galen comes out of nowhere with John Wick. The hell? And then we go to Glass. And I think, okay, Glass. Fragile, breaks easily. What's the opposite? A hammer against an anvil. And then Galen comes with Hail. The hell? My efforts have been for
My
nothing.
association with this song is that I am clinically insane.
So Eddie,
Yes.
I just want to give you a swift bleep you to the Hitman 2.
Yeah, so that one was a team effort, because Eddie picked it for Zerol, and Zerol was lost, so Galen, the Hitman player most prominently among us, went with a hint, except that was from the IO Interactive
The wrong
modern
Hitman.
Hitman 2,
The wrong Hitman
and
2.
not Hitman 2...
Not
Shadow
Hitman 2
Shadow
Silent
of the
Assassin.
Silent Assassin, exactly. Which I was the only one to notice. And pointed out, like, doop, what's going on here?
Didn't
I
have time to
kinda
listen
know-
to both. I did. Okay, so this is actually a case where Discord also kind of screwed up, because all of the YouTube videos that Zero put out all have thumbnails, so I could see exactly what it was. The ones I
was
did all had
deliberate.
thumbnails.
That wasn't Discord screwing up. That was me deliberately removing the integration of my message so I could browse more easily while organizing the tracks and the production order.
Oh my god! Okay,
So
so
it was your fault.
yeah, when I saw Eddie's,
Yes.
which
Wait,
was
no,
no.
Eddie posted his, so
Yeah.
that was his concerted effort as well.
Yeah,
They
so
pretty
I
much
see.
did the same.
Yeah, and it was just listed in the production order as Hitman 2, no Silent Assassin, which the community uses universally to only describe the 2020 video game in the World of Assassination trilogy, not Hitman 2 Silent Assassin. So my brain was like, oh, okay, here, I can help you out. Sierra's cute, she's gay, she's voiced by the same girl who voiced Emily in Control. This'll work.
Honestly, that misunderstanding snuck into everybody's blade angles like 47.
Yeah. Oh god, that well played.
Well,
Yeah, the only one of these I actually struggled with was Dark Souls, and then I saw a picture of Yuka Kitamura, then it was easy mode. Sorry.
I'm glad that I was able to Eddie and I went for the same mindset when it came to figuring themes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I am so sorry, but like this is a really good theme that goes like against like it like goes harder into the ferocious, is like nearly impossible to do on the cute side.
And you say bleep me, I say bleep you, because the Xenoblade stuff, I've never played a Xenoblade game in my life. And half my excuse of, oh, it actually played with the idea of going to the gym, that came to my mind because Rana decided to make me tell the story of how I came with the concept of glass while on record, which I wasn't planning on doing. So then I went, oh, I'll add those.
So yeah, I'm sorry. I found out a couple of things that I didn't know before I got on the podcast today through the song picks that I chose.
Yeah, and I, as usual, when researching for this podcast, learned some interesting things. I was reminded of the Resident Evil Director's Cut basement theme through watching a certain video that is also going to give me my genuine pick for Purple in the next episode we're going to record, which will be about what we'd actually pick for each of those films.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also, Rana?
Yes.
Going back to the Big Blue pick, you said, Galen, you said like you only played the SNES version.
Yeah.
That is the SNES version. The one that I picked.
I know.
Yes.
It is. I'm just saying there are
I
other
don't
games.
think he wasn't playing the opposite.
Yeah.
And it is if you look on the thumbnail, it is purple.
Yeah, the logo on the lights
Yeah.
and the bumpers. Yeah, which goes along well, yes. But that falls a bit too visual for justifying it.
Yeah.
Which is when I went with basically me playing off blue tone in purple was a way to kind of set you up for failure because at this point I had already picked Zeril Strike in return. It was a case where for purple each of us that picked a track for somebody else had that somebody else pick the track for them in return. And I struck first with green in, which was... The reasoning was simply, what's not purple? Okay, first, purple, it's a bit of blue, a bit of red. What's not that? Green.
There you go.
Speaking of songs you picked, choosing Resident Evil Director's Cut was evil.
Oh, wow.
Well, absolutely. I mean, that's the legendary, one of the worst songs of all time.
Yeah, that one has some pretty awful sound design.
The
That's
theory is
that's
that
I
it's
would-
actually
everything.
bugged.
Yeah, I was biting my tongue throughout that, but that is the reason why I said in my notes, Rana, you effing bastard.
Yeah, some of these,
I
some of
would
these
say
were
that as
evil.
well.
But the story of this song is genuinely that it's probably bugged and that during the MIDI export it picked wrongly a trumpet instrument instead of some violins, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
If that happened on export and no one in quality control found it, then someone really botched their job hard. Because that's not...
Oh, that's happened more than a couple of times. There's an entire video about that.
Oh, okay,
that
well,
I use for reference.
I would love to see that, because, man, that's the kind of mistake that should not make it to print.
I'll post it, but it will spoil my next purple pick.
We'll save it for next week then, just remind me. Or next episode then.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to the next episode. I've actually had a pick for Cute but Ferocious, an actual pick in my head since last weekend. So I'm like, it's still there. It's still playing up there, I might add.
This has been really fun.
This was wild. I'm actually really happy
That's
with
the
this
goal
one.
of a 1st of April episode.
That is.
We also got a fun inside joke out of it.
We will talk about that inside joke after now playing, I guess. We have time for it, so why not? Music Arcade, now playing. Who's up first this week? You know what? Special guest again.
So, thinking about playing stuff. I mean, I've been dealing with Deep Dungeon recently with 14,
Mm-hmm.
and
Well,
one
that's
of the
a
tracks
randomizer of a lot of songs.
Yeah.
yeah, it is. And one of the ones that came up actually was Longfall Pulse.
Ooh.
Oh,
And
the Pulse
it's-
version's in there.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew the original one, and
Once
then there was another
once
Pulse.
Once you get to 40 and above, you start hearing Pulse tracks.
No, there was one that played sub 30. We got Fallen.
Sophia.
Yeah, Sophia. That's the one. I thought it was Fallen Angel for a second. Yeah.
But yeah, it's there was Longfall Pulse, and it's actually pretty good. I haven't listened to it a lot, but it was.
Pulse overall is a really cool album.
Mm-hmm. And I think that it warrants a good place in now playing.
I certainly am not going to argue with that.
And we're not the one bringing up FF14, so we're in the clear.
Yay! I will actually be bringing up FF14 in a completely different context a little later.
Anyway, before that, how's Destiny going, Eddie?
It's going fine. Going really fine.
Not to typecast you or anything.
Of course, no. Not,
Look,
it's not-
I got typecasted. If we're doing it to everyone.
I mean, it's not like I'm the Destiny and dark ambient music guy on the podcast or anything.
Right?
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway. So yeah, Destiny 2 is still going strong. I've been enjoying it. Story is a bit weak still, even in the seasonal story, but the gameplay is fun enough that it just overshadows my issues with the story, to be honest.
That's kind of the
That was
main
like-
reason I'm still with
Overshadows because
FF14
of the
right now.
night thing.
Speaking of shadows, how's Lightfall?
Really fun. There's some balancing issues. Bungie already said they will fix a lot of stuff in the mid-season patch coming up in April. But the new subclass brand is really fun. There's a reason my status on Discord is Friendly Neighborhood Strand Man, because Strand is basically a Spider-Man simulator. So yeah,
Yeah, check it out.
the gameplay has been really fun, really cool. Lightfall added a lot of quality of life stuff, and I've been enjoying it. I also kind of got back a little bit to Marvel's Midnight Suns because I hadn't finished it, and I still haven't, to be honest. But yeah, my opinion on the soundtrack remains the same. The gameplay, everything's what I've already mentioned in the past. It's solid gameplay, just a bit unpolished on the art that surrounds the gameplay. But the gameplay, the combat animations, those are all really fun, and they are. This is also another game where they are keeping me. Though Destiny 2 Lightfall soundtrack actually is pretty good in my opinion, while Midnight Suns is very generic.
Right.
Least to
Yeah,
me.
you've mentioned that before.
I also got recently in the Steam sale the Spider-Man game, which
Yeah.
officially is called Marvel Spider-Man. I like to call it Sony's, PlayStation's, Insomniac's Marvel Spider-Man.
Yeah, no objection
Mouthful.
there.
Yep. It's a really fun game. I think its worst issue is that it takes notes from Assassin's Creed with how they design the open world, because there's way too much needless stuff to get or activities to do on Manhattan. Though you do get over it because web swinging is just so much fun. The soundtrack is a bit better than most superhero games because they're trying to emulate the Danny Elfman soundtrack for the first 3 Spider-Man movies. At least that's the vibe I got. The issue is that to me, Danny Elfman is one of 2 composers that you kind of can't fully copy. The other
Right.
being John Williams.
John Williams, of course.
So it comes off as not bad, but it's just a weaker version of a better composer, at least to me. Though it has one cool element that if
Yeah,
you
it's like when you're drinking an off-brand Coke and it's fine in itself, but why drink the cheaper thing?
yeah, pretty much. But they do have do a pretty cool thing where if you somehow are just walking around and not fighting anyone, there's no music playing because that's not what you should be doing in a Spider-Man game. But as soon as you jump and start web swinging, those themes kind of trying to grab that whimsy feel of the Spider-Man movies that instantly starts playing, and that's a pretty cool feeling, pretty cool vibe.
No, that's sweet.
And finally, because I apparently didn't have enough games to play, I decided to give Diablo 4's open beta a shot.
I see.
Okay.
I am the ARPG dungeon crawler guy, so, I kind of wanted to have my own opinion on the game rather than just, I don't like Blizzard as a company. So
Fair.
The game,
Yeah.
it seems like the game might be fun when it comes out, when it has the final version. The beta was bad, in my opinion. Like, not awful, but bad. Blizzard tends to do this thing where they ramp up your item drop rate and XP gain because they want you to experience at least a part of the build craft during the beta to give feedback. And their betas are absurdly short. It's just literally a weekend. So it's a bit hard to get a full impression of how that works. Furthermore, the beta was limited to just one region of, I think, 5 or 6 on the map, which meant that out of the 5 classes, 2 of them couldn't complete their quest to get their special ability, because each class has a special passive ability.
Yeah.
So druids and barbarians felt way worse than any other class because of that, because they didn't have their powers.
Oh, that's helpful. Great
Also
design, 10 out of
helped-
10.
Yep. Also helps that barbarians, they have a 4 weapon slot in the game. You are swapping loadouts mid-combat. And since they have so many slots, that means that they are the class that's the most dependent on the stats on their items, because they have more stat sticks, as we call them.
Yeah.
But since you're capped at level 25 on the beta, I believe the plans is that the final game, the cap for base levels will be 50, and then you have Paragon levels with passive buffs after that. But
Puff,
will-
puff, and then DLC.
yeah, we'll probably go to level 60 at a DLC. But we know the Paragon levels will be there. We can see that on the menu. We
Right.
just can't access it. But and the base level will, according to influencers, let's say, the base level is going to be 50. So we were only at half the max level, with item drops that are for level 25 rather than level 50, which hurts barbarians the most because they have the most item slots in their gear. So it really felt extremely unbalanced.
So,
Uh,
they get double shafted by the gear, by
yeah.
being so gear dependent.
Yeah, and meanwhile, sorcerers are just the strongest in the beta because you can just grab a two-handed staff and cast spells instead of depending on all of your gear. So yeah, it was a rough beta. We also didn't have mount. Diablo 4 has an open world, and Diablo doesn't really lend itself well to open world, so the mount would help, but the mount isn't there on the beta. It's locked behind a quest that you couldn't do on the beta. So
Did you just say that it's open
Yes.
world? Diablo?
Yeah.
That's an
You
interesting
do get
design
into-
choice.
Yeah, you do get into dungeons that are instance, but they have like public events, which are pretty much exactly like public events in Destiny, to be honest. They also have world bosses, which are exactly like world bosses in Warcraft.
So are they ripping off World of Warcraft? Are they ripping off Genshin Impact? Because it sounds like the second one, the more you talk about it.
They're grabbing stuff from Diablo 3, Diablo 2, Destiny, Genshin Impact,
14.
Lost Ark, I've heard comments about. Warcraft a little. So it is.
The skill progression also has an aesthetic flair similar to Path of Exile, though less cluttered.
I'd say it looked like that on first glance.
Oh, Blizzard.
It's different when you get there. The
Blizzard.
actual kill progression is closer to Diablo 2, actually.
I think it's less Blizzard and more Buzzard now.
But yeah, so having said all of that, I do think when the game comes out, there is a solid chance that it will be good once you actually get end-game drops and once you actually get a mount to navigate, because navigating without a mount in the open world is just walking, and no open world is just walking. No good open world game is just walking. Assassin's Creed has parkour, Spider-Man has web swinging, GTA has cars. So,
And I have the perfect transition to one of the games that I'm going to talk about.
Go for it.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to let Eddie finish first.
yeah, so my final thoughts on it is the beta was bad, pretty unbalanced, and it didn't really have anything to keep me going after I reached the max level. But I do see the potential for the final product being good, but I would advise everyone to check reviews first, especially reviews of the end game, if
So-
you're looking to buy the game.
Actually,
Do not
before
pre-order.
we transition, I have a statement and then a question.
Go on.
Statement. This is a music podcast. Question. How's the music?
Oh, right. Yeah, I meant to talk about that, but I got lost on the gameplay.
Yeah.
To put it briefly, it is not the sort of music you or Rana would enjoy. I can tell you with almost 100% certainty.
I haven't enjoyed any Diablo songs since the Tristram theme.
Yeah, they're kind of going for something in between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. It is orchestral and inspired by classical music, like Diablo 3, but it's much more focused on giving a gothic ambience to the whole thing, like Diablo 2 was. So it's more in the background, except for some fights here and there, and it's not bombastic like a movie, which is what we find in a lot of video games nowadays. It is something that I would personally probably add to my writing playlist, but it's not really a soundtrack that sticks in your mind for the melody.
I just thought
Not
of
the
something.
Walkout playlist either, then.
I just thought of something that I could have done, but I would have been the worst kind of person in the world if I did it.
I mean, that's the
choosing,
episode to do it.
Ancient Shackles for the Cute and Ferocious theme for you, Galen.
Which one's Ancient Shackles?
The bird theme. From 14.
The bird theme.
Meteon.
The Phoenix theme.
Oh, the
that
Phoenix.
one.
Oh, yeah,
I thought Meteor.
I'm glad you didn't. I like my answer better.
Anyway, on my end of now playing,
Yes.
two short forays into more of the indie side. I've played a bit of Wars of the Nile 2, which is a small tactical game, kind of like if Into the Breach had the progression of a Slay the Spire, if you will.
Okay.
But with an Egyptian theme, you've got like 9 character classes, most of them with an alternative, and you battle on a, I think, 9x9 grid. It's 3 characters against a whole lot on their end, and you get to the cool stuff. It's pretty nice. The classes feel very different, and the music is exactly as it sounds from as you imagine it sounds from a game named Warriors of the Nile.
You had me at Egyptian.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's on brand for you, Eddie.
It is Egypt.mp3, and I didn't want to cast you this time, but I'm glad you did it yourself, because I absolutely did think about you when I decided I'd bring this up for this episode.
I've mentioned before off record that if this podcast ever becomes a video project, you guys are literally gonna see a papyrus on the wall behind me.
Like the Undertale papyrus or actual?
No, an actual Egyptian papyrus.
Okay.
But yeah, I think you'd enjoy it, actually, because it's fun tactics, and you get to, like I said, if your builds come together, it feels great.
This is on PC, right? This sounds like
have a
a
look on
Steam
that.
indie.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's on Steam.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to have a look at that.
By all means. Then, a game that came out yesterday, Terra Nil, which is kind of the city builder / reverse city builder game where you terraform an area and then clean up after you to leave
I've
nothing
seen
but thriving
Real Civil
wilds.
Engineer and Angry Tom play that game, and it looks very cute.
Yeah, I
It is
remember
very
playing
cute.
it when it was at had a demo up during a
Yeah,
Steam
in
Next
the
Fest.
Steam Next Fest.
Yeah.
Yes.
The demo.
There's only one problem.
Yeah, go on.
That demo is roughly 1/4 of the game.
It's really short then.
Yes, it has 4 main areas, and they do mix it up. I'm being harsh when I say it's 1/4 of the game, because each of the areas has an alternative set where you have to face different challenges, but it does feel like a pretty short game. But the way the mechanic interconnect and the way they manage to make it work in different ways is very interesting, and it looks relaxing, it looks good, it's fun, it's nice.
It does
Yeah,
look fun. I do want to check that one out.
Yeah, I remember when I played the demo, it kind of felt a little bit boring to me, but I recently also saw a YouTuber playing it by the name of Aliens Rock, and it seems like they fleshed the gameplay out a bit more compared to the demo, so it does look a bit more interesting now.
Yeah. And as for the music, it works along review progression, where there's 3 main stages of increasing level of having the wasteland reclaimed, where it starts very somber and gets very high and kinda dreamy, if you will, by the end of it.
And we're back around.
Okay.
All the way back to the beginning.
Yes. And but the main game I've played the most of lately would be the recent release of Atelier Ryza 3. And I kinda love it. The combat I hate, but
Oh, no.
other than that, the game is has this very charming feel. The zones are immense, especially compared to the previous games. Although the progression is definitely gated, it's not full open world or anything, but it's more like they removed the transition between zones and made the new zones, because some of the areas are recycled from Ryza 1, since you are in the same area in the game. And it all feels very fun to explore, not least of it because Ryza as a series in the Atelier franchise has always had a strong emphasis on exploration, and they made it extra fun this time. There's random mini quest events that pop up, the movement is fast, it's snappy, you can gather things on the way without having to take a 5-second animation to bend down and take the shiny thing and have the pop-up explaining you for the 1273rd time what's a lottery ticket. Yakuza Ishin.
Speaking of...
But my favorite feature is one of the items you can craft. You can craft a variety of items for exploration that unlock some sub-areas and the likes. Or like one of those lets you dive underwater, for instance. And one of them doesn't really open anything new, but it makes traversal even more fun because it's called the wind boots. And what happens when you use the wind boots is that you jump and you hold jump, and what that does is that it essentially gives you an invisible magical skateboard upon which you start going down the flat plains and slopes going down very fast, and it just makes exploring and moving around incredibly fun.
That does sound fun.
As for the music, well, my favorite track, as it turns out, was one from Ryza 1 that I hadn't heard at the time because I hadn't finished that game. But it's in an area you can access much earlier this time, and it's this great violin track that's really intriguing. But the one I picked was a bit of a cheeky pick because it is very good. It's the first new town you visit called Sardonica that instantly instills you on this idea that you are in a new adventure with your group of friends that you've had since 3 games ago, which means also that you don't have to establish the alchemy, pun intended, between the characters because it's been established for 2 games now. And so this new city's visit is inherently joyous, and it's a bit of a cheeky pig because the city's main conflict and storyline there is a conflict between 2 crafters guild that kind of fight off each other. One that craft with some magical gemstones called the Fairy Stones, so the Fairy Stone Guild, and the other which works with glass.
Ha!
Hey.
So, again, this was not intentional, but I am clearly prescient in my game picks. But anyway, Atelier Ryza 3, probably my favorite one of the sub-series, and may get in my top 3 overall.
Oh, wow.
Of Atelier games.
That's high praise.
It's very good.
That's very
Even
high
if
praise.
the combat is bad, because it's a series that can get away with bad combat because you can circle around that by abusing the crafting system until it begs for mercy.
Somehow I'm actually reminded of Yakuza Kiwami 2 all of a sudden, because that was another
we'll
game.
talk about that in a couple of days.
We will, but that was also a game that you could break over your knee if you were so inclined to trivialize combat, and I did.
Yes, and Ishin too.
Speaking of Yakuza,
We're gonna hold off any Yakuza talk for the Year of the Dragon podcast in a couple days.
fair enough.
Yes.
We made a
been
point
doing
not
that.
to bring that up here, otherwise it would just monopolize all of our time.
Did you get the Sploosh this month?
I have not yet gotten to Sploosh.
I did, but also that game has no music,
Yeah.
so I just played some FF7 tracks on the background, and it works great.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. I do need to do that at
Turns
some
out
point.
the themes in Midgar are great for watching Midgar.
That makes sense.
Speaking of playing Final Fantasy tracks, what have you been up to, Galen?
Not as much. Okay, so I also had the Eureka Orthros from FF14. We already discussed that. Moving on. What I did do was I flew to Seattle to see a Final Fantasy concert because I'm a weirdo. So, they're doing their 35th anniversary tour of the franchise, specifically in this case, A New World, which is the chamber orchestra version. They had some new songs in there. The last time I saw The New World was in San Diego with Ryan, our old friend. And they had the, the 7 out of 10 guitarist having a 4 out of 10 day. Man, these songs sound way better with an actual guitarist that works. It wasn't that different from the other playlists. There were some new songs, and one really kind of blew me away. So, let me just hop open my playlist here that I took. There were a couple of new ones. We got Vasta Fantastico from FF15. I hadn't heard that one live before. That was cool.
That feels like a perfect fit.
Yep. The opening track was one of my favorite New World mixes, and that's Chaos Shrine from FF1. I love that New World mix so much.
Also, you lost your pencil somewhere before Besaid.
That wasn't actually me. That wasn't me who lost the pencil.
Oh.
So, the pianist, actually, who was there that day, he had a pencil stuck behind his ear, and between these two tracks, you have the conductor, Eric Roth, look at this guy and just kind of mug at him and scratch his ear, and you see the pianist go, whoops, take it off and put it on his piano before getting back to the concert, and I'm like, ah.
Oh my god.
Poor guy.
Incredible.
Eric looked drunk. He was way too into it conducting. I mean, he's still musically talented, but I get the feeling he may have thrown one or two back before this particular show.
Honestly, if he manages to still be talented and good at conducting while drunk, that's even more props to him.
Honestly, I agree. Like, no, the old, like, I will say one thing was weird. Fate, which is Sarah's theme from FF13, he actually grabbed a microphone and started singing to that one. It was okay. He was all right. I wasn't super thrilled with that. I think it's not the kind of show that could bring in a guest singer, but I feel like doing two jobs at once, and he's an okay singer. That was probably not my favorite thing. But a few songs before that, we had the biggest surprise. I've mentioned this before, but Distant Worlds, which is the parent show, that's the full symphony orchestra, they don't get Soken's work at all, ever. They get other things from 14 by Uematsu or by Mizuta, but never Soken's work. Mm-hmm. So when I hear the violin start playing the opening riff to Insatiable, the boss theme from Shadowbringers, I kind of lost it a little bit. I'm like, oh, we're doing this, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Remember this exists.
Yeah, no, the second that riff came up, I'm like, ooh, something fun is happening now. And that was pure Soken. It was a really good mix, too. Like, that actually worked surprisingly well in chamber orchestra. Between that and the rock version from the Primals concert, I think that song has a lot of legs.
Yeah.
The only other new one is one I've heard Distant Worlds play, but never a new world, and that is Heaven's Tower from FF11. That one was weird.
Which one I know?
Because the violin was like permanently pizzicato.
Oh.
And which means it was just being plucked, it was never being bowed.
Yeah,
But yeah, that one was a very
Part of the appeal
interesting
of the
mix.
podcast,
I was
really.
a little concerned about possible damage to the violin, but this was a very professional group of people. I will say that once again, the guitarist did flub the guitar solo of the FF1 main theme, but this guitarist was self-aware enough to know that it happened and didn't try to be, like, annoying about it. It was like, oh no, I'm so sorry. I thought it was funny. It gave us a laugh.
Oh, that's cute.
It wasn't the San Diego 7 out of 10 guitarist having a 4 out of 10 day. I will never forget that guy.
Yeah,
Sounds
and
like
what
you'll
you
never
mean to say
forgive that
overall
guy
about the
either.
performance?
Yeah.
Yeah, and what you mean to say overall about the performance is that they were professional enough you wouldn't assume somebody would just jump on a keyboard.
Right, exactly. Ugh. Ugh.
Boy.
and we're back to Dragon Force.
We're back to Dragon Force, my
Great
nemesis.
way to finish.
Yeah.
Great is a choice of word there for Dragon Force.
So yeah, that's what I was doing. So I'm going to ask you guys this because I think I might be emotionally compromised on it. I am getting increasingly tempted to scalp a ticket at least to Eorzean Symphony in Las Vegas. This will be expensive, but as kind of another 40th birthday concert present to myself, I'm very tempted to do so. And after hearing Insatiable live, that only just made that desire worse. But it does mean scalping a ticket. Am I going to get pushback from you guys on this one? Because I am,
No.
feeding a bad thing here.
I wouldn't, because honestly, while it's feeding a bad thing, it's gonna happen. No matter what we try and do.
How big is the markup?
I'm staring down the barrel for a
Personal
decent seat at like an $800 ticket.
Jeez.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's awful. I hate it so much. It was like $200 base ticket for this. This was like $160 tickets for
I
decent
see.
seats.
Yeah, so 400% markup.
Huge markup.
Yes.
And these are for decent seats.
These are for
What?
decent seats. These are not for like in the
Okay.
nosebleeds. I could get nosebleeds
of
for
course.
like 300, but that's still a lot. I don't want nosebleeds for something like this. This is kind of a quasi once in a lifetime opportunity here, which is
I wouldn't. I'm not gonna give you pushback. Like,
I'm giving you pushback. I wouldn't think less of you if you took the plunge, but if you're asking for my undiluted advice in the ether of things, that's... Nah.
Yeah.
$800 is a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot of money.
Yeah,
It's not only a lot of money out of your pocket, it's a lot of money inside the pocket of a douchebag.
Yes, correct.
yeah, that's the big issue as well. Like, if you want advice from me, I'd say if you have a lot of money lying around, then maybe, but otherwise, I would avoid that.
Having money in this economy?
Right?
Wait, no, that works so well.
It actually doesn't.
How, like, the fact that the tickets sold out that fast.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get another chance at an Eorzean Symphony, right? That's the biggest concern I have. And Vegas is something that's actually relatively easy for me to get to because of, connections between Hawaii and Vegas. We actually do call it the Ninth Island. So, it's less of an issue as if I would try to go to Japan to see it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be live streamed. They've kind of made it sound like it wouldn't be. I'm deeply concerned.
I think that with push from fans, there might be, because of the amount of fact that...
I mean, until I hear one way or the other, I just don't know, and that's kind of where I'm at on this. I don't know if I'm going to do it. My next trip is a concert trip. It's going to be to New York to see a heavy metal band, which is another kind of one of these once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, because I never thought they'd play any shows in the States, even just a one-off like this. So, but that ticket I didn't scalp. That I just bought for the venue.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't want to give money to a jackass, but I also don't want to deprive myself of a once-in-a-lifetime music experience, especially given my love of live music, because of that. That's the big issue I'm running into here.
That's a tricky one, for sure.
I wouldn't judge you. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Exactly, same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So...
I wouldn't have the money to pay that personally, but that's another matter.
I barely
entirely.
do. I'd have to put off a different plan, but that plan isn't critical. I'm just like, it's one luxury versus another luxury.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't think I even earned that much in a month because of the currency exchange.
Yeah.
In any case, that's the kind of food for thought. I barely moved the process forward, but it's a tricky question.
Yeah. I know it's kind of a weird one for this group, but we do talk about all things game music, and this is just one of these weird kind of unique circumstances that I felt needed discussion.
Yeah.
Sure.
Completely fair.
Happy to have provided an insight you seem to value.
Thank you. With that, that is all the time we have.
That's the magic word.
Yep. All the time we have for this April Fool's episode of Music Arcade. This one was a good one. I really liked this one. If you guys want to hear our actual picks for these topics, the four of us will be back next episode to do exactly this again, just this time with real answers.
Yeah.
Woo! Yay.
Some of them may be the song answers, which is real.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And
Anyway, thank you all very much for listening. You can join us at the address that is in the episode description, whether it's on YouTube or Spotify. Thank you all very much for watching or listening or however you have us. And have a nice one. That's right, I stole your intro, your outro. It's mine now. Goodbye. I'm taking it in the anime dimension.
Wait, let me back through. No.
There's only room for one.
See you next time, I guess.
bye.